I learned so much from my students. And one of the things that I learned just last year that is so clear to me now is when one of my students, who was very progressive on the left, said, "My whole life I've looked up to civil rights activists as heroes, and I want to be a civil rights activist like them." And what this made me realize is that we see ourselves in those we admire in history. People marching and protesting, even rioting for George Floyd and BLM, saw themselves as those civil rights activists, those people marching from Selma to Montgomery, the people getting the fire hoses turned on them, the dogs released on them. They saw themselves in those individuals from the 1960s. The women who marched in 2016 with the pussy hats and things like that, they saw themselves as Susan B. Anthony and Elizabeth Cady Stanton and Mother Jones and all of the other feminists that were marching for equality for women, which was so desperately needed for so long. And even the Capitol rioters truly saw themselves as the sons of liberty, our founding fathers that rose up against tyranny to take down the government that was tyrannical and infringing on their rights. But history is complex, and rarely do the people who are in those moments of history understand the weight of what they're actually doing. There's a wonderful documentary called Eye on the Prize. And in that, one of the foot soldiers, a girl who was a little girl who was marching for civil rights in the 1960s South, said that when she was locked up and put in jail, she's like, it was embarrassing. No one respected a jailbird. It was embarrassing to have to go to jail. Now we look back, we go, oh, you went to jail? You know, letters from Birmingham jail, Martin Luther King and things like that. We go, oh, wow, that's cool. You went to jail for a great cause. But that's not the way it typically plans out. The ones fighting for power and equality typically are not supported by everyone else. They are rebellious. And it is very, very complex. And I think we history teachers have a very important job in how we celebrate these heroes, because we have to make it very realistic about what these people went through and that they had a very clear aim. Our founding fathers, civil rights activists, women's rights activists, gay rights activists had a very clear aim. We want this law changed. We want this law enacted. We want this policy changed. It was very clear cut. And that is something that we desperately need right now. We need a clear mission. But if you go to some of these protests, and I've watched the videos and I've even had a chance to talk to some of the people, and you ask them, why are you marching? You get 50 different answers. There's a lot of people that just want to be a part of something good, and I understand that. But there are good causes out there. Let's find a good cause and let's do it together. Let's all fight for good causes together. But we history teachers have a responsibility here to not equate things of today to things of the past unless there is a clear similarity that is pretty undeniable. So I just wanted to get you to think about this concept of how much do you admire those leaders in the past and how much do your actions today strive to be like them? What are your thoughts?